So we'll give that a shot. So this is the Mevo about a little closer than halfway back in the room, in one of the rooms in Johnston. And I've got my iPad here that I'm controlling the Mevo from, and it's set to kind of the autopilot and auto face detection. So it can recognize faces and also do some tracking. So I'm going to zoom in on me. I'm going to move around just a little bit like I would when I'm normally teaching, looking at the class and that sort of thing. And you can see that it's kind of tracking my movements and without me doing anything with the iPad or telling it what to do. So it's kind of doing that. I can also jump back here and have it jump back out to full screen if I wanted to. And what we'll try to do is write on the board and see how that comes out. I'm going to try to use a couple different inks just to see how that works. So what we can do is also zoom in and see if that comes up at all. This black ink isn't great. I mean, I would still use it in a regular class, but if the color is really, really important, then I probably wouldn't use it. So when we zoom in, we'll see how well that people can view the text. But if I were to draw something, that's what it might look like. Or I could draw something much larger. Like if I were drawing a diagram or trying to draw some connections between things. Just put up a couple things of the different color markers that I've got. All right, so now that that's done, we'll zoom in on it. And we'll see how well that actually works for things. And then we can kind of zoom back out. The only other thing we could try is switching the audio input. So I will switch that to the iPad audio. So that should be detecting the iPad audio only and using that. And the iPad is much closer. So, I mean, as you can probably see, let me zoom back out. The iPad is just maybe a couple feet away from me. The Mevo is a good probably 10 feet away from me or so. So the iPad is certainly much closer. We'll see how it does with me moving around the room. I don't know if I've got it set to auto scale. In fact, it looks like that's going to be super loud. So let's see if I just have to find that setting for it. It's under advanced, not advanced. General maybe. Not there. Well, we'll put the audio for the iPad back down to 0, so it's not doing anything with the decibels. It's just keeping that kind of normal. You can also mute the microphone by tapping on it. So this is iPad. Typical volume. This is what I'd say my typical speaking voice is when I'm in class, talking with students or have our base lecture. But we'll see how good the audio quality is of the iPad. So this is me going, this is as far over as I can really go in this room because of the screen behind me, but it looks like Mevo is tracking me. So at least kind of gives you some of that going on, and then has gone much larger. And it detects me again and zooms in. That's the iPad audio. We're going to switch back to Mevo. So that should be the Mevo audio. Now it's going back to the default setting, which I've got it to the max because we are having some issues with it. This is it at plus 25 decibels, plus 20. This is plus 15. That's 12, 10, that's 5. And then this is without kind of upping the audio at all. Right here is the midpoint, it looks like, or at least what it's labeled as the midpoint. But I think it's one that if you're recording, you'll have to monitor that. So I'm going to go up to 25, and then this is back up to the max. And that's only getting me like half to maybe 3/4 of green with it. One of the other things that I'm noticing is kind of when you do some changes, if you're looking at the Mevo, it looks like it changes the camera ring a little bit, the LED ring on the top when it does something. So it went to a much smaller actual ring when it zoomed in on me. Now that it went bigger, it actually got broader. So if you're the presenter, you can actually tell when it's doing those. So right now it went smaller, and it looks like the red line actually follows me, which is really cool. So the red line on the top, on the circular part, actually follows me. Now it got wider again, so it zoomed out and has the whole thing. Now it went back, and now that red light is tracking me, which I kind of like. That's a neat thing that I didn't know it did, that I can kind of see as the presenter, and that's actually fairly helpful for the most part. So that's a quick test of it. Again, here's the board, and that's just letting you kind of see what that is like. And when I get back to my computer, we'll see how well that turns out.